I lost my companion, my love, my life, and I wanted nothing more than to bring him back. And I sought a power far beyond what I should have. I paid a very dear price for it. As the head kind of starts to slowly fall down into the water, you see the body just crumple down behind the boat. And as it hits the sand behind, it just starts to slowly melt into just this like inky black ooze that covers the ground and then just starts to dissipate. As soon as that starts to happen, the girl over behind Eugene still just shoots up off the ground and just and first of all, Eugene nearly shits his pants as this happens, but second of
Does he
all,
get to roll a save for shitting his pants?
no, he just does, but doesn't tell anybody. The man never
We're
tells.
underwater. It doesn't like.
He
There was
was
a
taking an aqua dump.
What's an aqua dump? As he does, as she like snaps up, she also starts to cough up this just dark, viscous ooze, just all over the ground, behind, like, well, into the water, I suppose now, as it just kind of like floats in front of her face. She just like swats it out of the way, and if you want to investigate like, a little bit closer, go ahead and give me an investigation roll while I continue with the rest of this. But the entire feeling around all of the boat and everything, especially for you, Emmerin, this fiendish energy just loses its grasp on everything and just starts to actually calm. The water stops swirling. The storm above you, you can't tell if it's still raging or not, but you would imagine that it probably is also slowing down. And as the girl's face kind of was this also cracked, like I said, emaciated form, her features start to kind of soften as life breathes back into her body. She has just a very genuine, like, innocence to her, like, very childlike. But again, she's not a child physically, but she has that nature to her. And immediately, just tears start running down her face, and she just collapses back down to the floor and just sobs violently. Did any of you guys actually roll investigation to look at this material?
Yes.
I'd like to say I did.
I did.
Anything higher than a 15?
I got a 19.
Okay. Anything higher than a 20? Heard. Laya, you would see, like, as you kind of like stare into this material, it's dark, it's black, it's viscous, but as you look deeper into it, it's not just dark because of the color. It is just actually pulling the light around it out. Like, it is just this deep void of energy and color, just floating there, and now the ocean, the water that you're standing near, but it's nothing like you've ever seen before.
Emmerin is going to start walking towards the little girl, like slowly reshifting back into his normal form, kind of popping the limbs back into place and shaking the hair off, kind of thing, and then like refitting some of their armor as he's going. And he's just going to kind of push Eugene out of the way, and he's going to pick up the poor girl, and he's just going to hold her in his arms.
Can
And
we
just
tell
kinda-
if she's able to breathe under the water?
Good point.
She seems to be fine at the moment. Like, 'cause she is actively, like, as she is crying, she's taking like these deep breaths and just like sobbing herself through. But she is seemingly able to breathe underwater. I don't know that you would probably be familiar enough, especially with how well traveled some of you guys are. She seems to be an elf, but she seems to be a sea elf. So she is of the water naturally.
Yeah, so Emmer's just gonna hold her in his arms for a second. He's gonna be like, "It's okay, it's okay, it's all over, it's all over."
And she just, like, as you do this, she doesn't recoil or anything. She just fully leans into it and just loses it for a couple minutes as she just lets herself feel something. And after a few moments pass, she lets out a very deep sigh, and she kind of pulls herself back from you, and she lays her hand like very gently, like on your shoulder, your chest, and she doesn't say anything, but she gives you a very like knowing look of just that, like I said, very deep, just compassion. Just you can see in her eyes how thankful she is just for you to be there for that.
He just put his hand on hers too and go, "I've been there. You're all right now."
And she just kind of nods, very very gently, and she looks over at the group of you. You see her glance at Durza for a moment, and she doesn't say anything, but they share a few moments of just like they locked eyes, and they're just giving that moment of like realization of what is really has been going on for quite a long time, especially for them. And she just nods very gently again at Durza and looks at the rest of you and goes, "I can't even begin to thank you or even try to explain what happened over this time. I want you to know that you freed me from something that started out as an innocent gesture and a wave of emotion that turned into something utterly catastrophic. And I will never be able to repay the favor, but I promise you that I will do everything in my power to try."
So we presume you are the true Lady Alhaya.
And she tries very gently to like curtsy, her body still not cooperating as she's been here for as long as she has. But she goes, "Yes, as much as I can call myself that anymore."
Emmerin will give a curt little as well to her. "I've been looking for you for a very long time. Can you describe to us what that thing might have been?"
"Which? This?" And she kind of points behind her to where you were just in battle with Alhaya, or like the demonic form of herself, or if you meant something else specifically.
You'll have to forgive me. I thought we were only fighting one thing. Was it something we missed?
Well, you may have been, yes, but while I was fighting you, I've been fighting for much longer than that. That was just, and she motions over towards where the battle took place, and was just the culmination of emotions that overtook me, and also what I suppose was my recompense for asking for what I did from the person that I asked it from. I have been fighting a battle much, much longer than that internally. I sought favor. I sought a favor from a very powerful being trying to bring something back to me that I thought was lost and that I thought warranted the effort that I put into it. I lost my companion, my love, my life, and I wanted nothing more than to bring him back. And I sought a power far beyond what I should have, and I paid a very dear price for that.
So would any of us know about? She says like this was a culmination of my emotions that kind of manifested as this fiend. I'm presuming. Was that something like the level of the emotion that was going on kind of attracted this fiend from elsewhere, or it was formed solely from?
With that, it would most certainly have been something that, with the nature of the task that she had asked, with the magic that she had asked, and what she paid the price for, it was just the internalization of her and what continued to grow as the hate and malice and all of that started to kind of overtake her in a deeper sense. I want to make sure that I give you all of the information that you need. I will give you anything that you wish. Everything here. And she kind of like motions over to all of the strewn like jewels and gold and crates of things. I don't know what is left that is salvageable, but first and foremost, that is all yours. And that is the least I can do to even try to repay this favor from you. But I will also be more than willing to answer any questions, or also, even further, continue to pay this favor back for as long as I possibly can. In whatever ways I am able that you may need. I don't know who you are nor where you come from. And she looks at you, Sir Roland, Eugene, and Michelle, and goes, "You I recognize. Well, not you specifically, but what you wear."
Roland kind of takes a second and composes himself and sheathes his sword and bows. Says, at your service, ma'am.
No. Not this time. I am very much at yours. And she returns the favor and bows back to you. She looks over at you, Orlo, and Laya, and then darts over to Emmerin. "I've seen people like you before," and then looks back to you and, like I said, Orlo and Laya, and goes, "Not you. There's something different about you. I don't know what, but I feel it."
Go ahead, Orlo. Do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, Orlo is just like still like seeing red from the previous fight, so he's not really processing what's happening. He's still pretty fucking amped up.
for sure. Laya, is there anything that you want to say in this moment?
I mean, really, I guess in response to her, not so much question, but observation, you might say that my companion and I aren't from here, from this world at all, really.
Interesting.
That does explain quite a lot.
We not told you that either. Oh dear God, we really need to catch him up.
Every time we stop someplace, everybody just gets drunk.
That's
That
true.
was one time.
Not everybody.
Maybe twice.
One time for me.
Take some responsibility for that.
And Emmerin, she looks over to you, and again, much like your companion here, you I may not know, but I know your type.
I'm sure you do, ma'am.
Regardless, you've all done me a great service. I will tell you guys right now, is if you want, I will tell you what there is to loot down here and what you can take with you. I will just wrap that up in a nice little package if it is something you wish to do, without having to worry about you guys doing checks or anything like that and trying to figure out how the fuck to manage it.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Absolutely, yeah. That sounds great, man.
I'm probably going to need to buy some healing potions or something. So
Funny enough, as you say that, so there is 4,707 gold dispersed throughout a good bit of
707.
coinage. Yeah, I'll send you this list here in a second. There is 3 particular items that may be of interest. There is a javelin, there is a ring, and a very like fancy like hat. There is
Emmerin needs a fancy hat.
a saddle, a very intricate decanter, and then with the thing that you had just said, potions, there is an entire crate of potions, and I will tell you what is in that later, because I haven't even figured out exactly what goes into that, but it is going to be a substantial amount of them, and again, this was not something that I just decided to give you. These were all rolls. I do all of my loot tables just randomly rolled. So those things are what I just sent to you. We will go through identifying them and things later on, if you so wish. But that is what is in there. With that, she kind of looks at the group of you and goes, I'm so sorry. Please excuse my manners. Let us get out of here and somewhere much more comfortable. And she looks over at Durza. I do not expect any type of immediacy on your part to do anything out of just giving us a place to be. What I have caused you and your people has, it will be something that I will be in debt for a very long time, and I expect very much to pay it full. But let us get somewhere safer and much less depressing. And with that, she is going to she takes her hand and she just kind of like raises it up and she forms a fist, and you see this torrent of water kind of shoot all of you up, and she will create a vessel at the on the surface of the water to take you all back to town. As you reach the surface of the water, the storm itself is still swirling, lightning, but it is much less than what it was initially, and it seems like it is calming itself down. Is there any final questions you have for tonight before we get into discussing with her the nature of everything next session? But is there anything else tonight that you find pertinent to ask before the end of the session?
Well, there's so many questions, but it's going to be like an hour worth of talking.
Right,
so-
that's why we're going to
yeah,
do it
yeah.
next time. Is there, like I said, is there anything that you want to do or say before the end of this?
I guess Emmerin will take one last moment and look at her and say, my lady, I suspect that my reputation of my type of people precedes me, but I hope you can appreciate that we know monsters. We know powerful monsters. And we know horrors. We've seen them. Sometimes we are them. And I hope that I can be someone that you can confide in about these things. These are horrible. I don't know why he just went Russian/French in his accent there, but it's late and I'm losing it.
She looks at you and she meets your gaze, and you find this like very much empathetic look, and she just says, "We can all be monsters in our time. It's what we do with the time afterwards that is important." Orlo, what were you going to say?
So she torrented us up in like a giant whirlpool of water.
Just a spout, but yes.
So yeah, just like kind of coming out of things. Orlo just kind of almost doubles over just in the suddenness of the change, and just kind of like under his breath is just like, "Geez, a little warning next time would be nice." And, like, is very nauseous about it.
My apologies. I still have some things that I need to learn when it comes to my magics.
In very Alhaya fashion, Emmerin's going to turn around and like slap Orlo.
Actually, with that as well, Michel will walk over to you and just kind of place his hand on your shoulder, and he'll cast what is that? Not cure wounds. The other one.
Lay on hands.
Lay on hands. And just give you 5 hit points back, but it'll also kind of just remove some of the nauseousness from you. And he'll just be like, yeah, that could have been better, but you'll be fine now. Just kind of like gives you a little tap as he walks away. Laya, you got anything else?
I don't think so.
Sir Roland?
Is there any way before we get swept up to the surface, are there any like scraps of old sail or anything around that Roland could wrap up this demon head in?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, he's going to take it for further study.
Absolutely. And the last thing that she'll say before you start heading back to shore, and she looks back at you, Emmerin. I know that we all have our inner demons and our inner monsters, and she just kind of looks over the group of you. But you know nothing of what this creature is that is out there, and you have no idea what she is capable of. And with that, that is where we